Good afternoon, Suidlanders. How are you? We trust that you're very well. I have a friend who's got money. I know a few people with Tom, but this is one particular guy. And I told him some years ago, I phoned him and I said, that the electricity story in South Africa was going to get very, very bad for X, Y, and Z reasons. And he laughed me off. And to cut a long story short, some years ago, I think it was 2 years ago, he put in a solar system. And he said to me afterwards, that is the best decision I've taken in my whole life, bar nothing. Wife, children, business, that was the best decision of my life. I said to him, well, it took you long enough, you're stubborn. I said, I gave you good reasons. It's not like I said, I made some claim. I said, what were the reasons? And the reasons were incontrovertible, irrefutable, indisputable. Hard factual stuff. So I said to him, the next thing that you must do is, by the way, I should point out that when he put in the solar system, he also put in a water system. Did it properly. 15,000 liters, the whole kit and caboodle. I said to him, now you know what you must do is buy silver. He said, no. What about gold? Not that he wanted to. He was, again, thought I was talking nonsense, being hysterical. But he's a very bright guy, highly qualified, university, various degrees, numerous degrees. And no matter how much sense I spoke to him, facts, figures, data, and statistics, he didn't believe in the metals thing, the precious metals thing. But he was kind of making the point, if he was to get precious metals, it would be gold, not silver. I told him you're wrong. Then I told him about bank failures coming. Didn't want to know a thing. He's got lots of money stashed overseas. Swiss bank account, Liechtenstein, the whole lot. Funnily enough, I know a few people with accounts in Liechtenstein. Anyway, didn't want to know my story. Until the bank started failing 3 weeks ago. Now he's trying to get his money out of that foreign account. He has been doing backward somersaults for those banks. Backward somersaults. They don't want to relinquish that money. They're making it difficult for him. We all know about this. We knew it was coming. We've been discussing it since 2018. 2018. In many videos. Anyway, now he's desperately, frantically trying to get his money out. And he's managed to get a promise concerning a lesser sum, not a small sum by your and my standards, trust me, but a lesser sum out from one of the accounts. Another account holds a far greater sum of money. And they're telling him that the account no longer exists. There is no such account. Anyway, he phoned me about half an hour ago, and he said that with the money that he has been told he is going to receive, he's going to be buying silver. I just laughed. I didn't say I told you so, but those 3 words hung between us like something tangible in the airwaves. It was the unspoken elephant on the telephone airwaves. I told you we got imposed upon us prepaid electricity meters. You know the whole story. The African National Congress Town Council stole 126 million rands worth of Van der Kloof residents' electricity payments. So Eskom cut us off, so we stopped paying, and now they put in the prepaid meters so that they can steal again, which they will. It's the African National Congress. All you starry-eyed northern suburbers. And now it turns out that today, so they put in the electricity meters without telling us. Again, without informing us. Or no consultation whatsoever. Can you imagine if we were black and they hadn't consulted? By now we'd be burning down the clinics, you name it, local school. They're installing prepaid water meters. I can't say I don't have the money. I absolutely don't have the money. They say it's so cheap. No, you just put it in. This pump only costs 2,000 rand, and they make it sound like it's peanuts. But at the end of the day, you look at a bill that's 5 figures for a JoJo tank that's big enough to mean something. I have a 1,000-litre one, but that's for desperation. It's for watering, water for the dogs, water for the chickens, water for the herbs. It's not for mass consumption. 200 litres at a time for a bath, or 65 litres at a time for a shower, or whatever it is. And to put in 2 5,000-litre tanks is beyond my means. So I don't know what I'm going to do, but I want nothing to do with these swines' prepaid meters. The point of this video is that there is a lot going on, and it's only going to become more. So we got onto the subject, this friend and I, my wealthy friend and I, my rich friend and I, one of my rich friends, of how things might play out. And I said to him, well, look, if the... I'm going to have to choose my words carefully here. I could get myself into a lot of trouble. If, Belarus on, I think it was reported on Saturday-ish, Saturday the 25th of March, maybe Friday, that Russia had moved nuclear missiles into Belarus, which means White Russia, which is on the borders, for those of you who are interested in the Ukraine conflict and understand what I'm getting at, on the borders of Poland and Ukraine. I said, if this war gets hotter and it's apparent that the occupational government of the USA is determined to instigate a hot war, their purpose being, of course, to assist the suicide of the USA and Europe. The overt thing is anti-Russian, but it's not. It's actually USA and Europe. Perhaps in months to come I'll be able to explain better. I said, in that case, if there's a sort of a global or a very big conflict, then we'll enter a wartime economy. And I said to him, you know what that means, don't you? That you're going to have to go to the local SASA offices and stand in a queue with an alcoholic woman in front of you who reeks of feces, urine, vomit, and alcohol and stale sweat, and a man who's actively drunk behind you, so that you and your wife can get that much pork fat a week, that much butter a week, this much coffee a week, and so on. And he looked at me, metaphorically speaking. It's that Belgian Malinois of mine. I'm telling you, I have shown greater patience with this dog than I've shown with all of my dogs and all of my children and all of the people I've ever dealt with in my life. She's adorable. She's absolutely adorable, but Judith! Anyway, hopefully it's not too irritating to you. I'll carry on with the video. So, the thought had never occurred to him. So there was this sort of silence on the other end of the line that represented in my mind that sort of an expression. Wide-eyed, gaping mouth expression of astonishment and horror. I said to him, that's the way it works. Well, how do you think? I said, more particularly, if there's a devaluation in the rand and the SASA grant is, 1,000 rand a month to buy you 1 carrot. I said, the government has to do that. And then you're talking 80 million people equal. Klar. Everybody gets the same rations. And our country cannot support much more than meager rations. And you only have to know a little bit about the rationing in World War II to understand that it's severe. I said to him, but there's a ray of hope. Easter is down the river. I said to him, per capita wise, not in absolute terms, but relative terms, the biggest hotbed of smuggling in South Africa will be here. Between Van der Kloof, the omliggende plase, so call it Lukhof, Van der Kloof, Petrusville, Phillipstown, De Aar, Bridgetown, up to Douglas, Hopetown, Judith, seriously. And upriver to Orania and Van der Kloof, don't bite me. I said, there's meat, grain, vegetables, fruit. I said, it's going to be so severe that if I make videos, people are going to write in the comments complaining that Simon's putting on weight while the rest of the country is starving. Disgraceful white man. Right-wing racist. Because the right-wingers will stand together. That's exactly what will happen. I had, until I told you that story about the guy who came here and wrecked my gardener, wrecked my entire chicken operation. On top of, I had Marex and Tampon at the same time. Virulent Newcastle disease and Tampan ticks, a form of them. Not the conventional one, it's more South African or far worse. I wiped out everything, and then this guy came along my garden and he took all my live eggs out. And then asked me to give them to him. Anyway, point being, for me to resuscitate or revive my chicken operation, quick sticks, 3 months. We'll be cooking with gas here. Half of them devoted to meat. It's very little meat. It's peanuts. Meat production in chickens is not the most efficient of things, which is why battery farming exists. But the eggs, oh, my chickens laid eggs. Woo! Almost too many. Not too many, but almost. And I'll bring my milch goats up here. I'll make a camp behind my house. I'll have the type of milch goats that I have are super productive. The fourth highest in the world, and I have good milch goats. We'll have goat's milk coming out of our ears and chicken's eggs. For the rest, the local sheep farmers are going to be smuggling half lambs into this town, Orania, Phillipstown, near where Mr. Miller lives, De Aar, Britstown, Stradenburg, Douglas, Hopetown, Orania. Night and day. We're going to be as fat as pigs. And this dam is going to be fished like nobody's business. That's just a reality. I'm not giving away any secret. People may not know that yet, but that's only because they haven't thought further about it. It's ineluctable. The moment you think about it, you have to arrive at that conclusion. And because the fauna of this dam has not been managed since the ANC took power, you must see the state of the laboratory down here. It's enough to make you weep. And the boats and the nets and the what have you. You can take out an enormous tonnage without affecting the numbers in the dam. So as fast as you're taking out, you're creating space for them to reproduce in. There's a superfluity, an excess of fish. And if you take off that excess in the next breeding seasons, according to the different sorts of fish and when they breed and how they breed and for how long they breed and gestate and so on, it would be replaced within the next cycle. And the sum, I know it, is very large. And in many ways it's not good, because when people are very, very, very hungry and other people are fat, creates a lot of tension. But the reality is, it is a reality. In the cities, people are going to be confined or restricted to very low levels of food consumption of everything. If we go to a wartime economy, because there is a major war in the northern hemisphere. We're not saying now that China and Taiwan is going to go to war and Russia's going to launch nuclear bombs. We were holding a telephone conversation, and I was just making the point, well, if I've been right about this, and that, and that, and that, and then you are right in what you're saying about your fears, now that you've observed all of these happen to your solar, your water, your money overseas. And if your fears for the future manifest, then the reality is, the government of the Republic of South Africa will take those steps. That's how it works. Meaning that you're going to be living on skutzels, except because you live in this larger vicinity, it's going to be like Uppington, Prieska, Groblershoop. I always get Groblershoop and Groblersdal mixed up, but you know the one I'm talking about. not saying that life is going to be easy. I am saying that people are going to trade and they're going to produce themselves and they're going to be whipping up veggie gardens and they're going to be hunting vermin. My dogs are going to have fat cheeks like gerbils, like my cheeks. Because everybody will be hell-bent on ensuring that the bush pigs and the warthogs and the baboons don't come and destroy their precious gardens. And everybody's going to have a garden. And everybody's going to have chickens. And everybody's going to want to buy a milch goat ewe from me. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I was telling Mr. Miller the other day how much my car installments have increased in 14 months and my house installments. And Mr. Miller is not an easily impressed person, you know. There's an expression, I can't think of it, but and even he said, wow. My Bucky, when I bought it, I think I paid $5.2 a month or $5.3, $5.4. In fact, I'm almost certain it was $5.2. I said to Mr. Miller $5.3 or $5.4, but I'm almost certain that it was $5.2. If I told you what I'm paying now, you just wouldn't believe me. But that's the deal that I'm on. I know somebody, a friend, close friend, whose house installment, the bond installment amounts doubled last year. Doubled. You know, if my bond repayments go from what they originally were, which was 4.5 or something, to 20, how am I going to pay? So I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I'm not saying we're going to be able to afford fuel. I am saying that, yeah, people will eat like ravenous wolves. Sheep will be bartered, milk, chickens' eggs, potatoes, tomatoes, carrots. Those are going to be growing the stuff in their gutters. Those are going to be ripping up their lawns. When I bought this house, there was no lawn at all. None, zero. Not one stalk of grass. It was just sand and residue and detritus and stuff. So, a mosquito bit me on my ear and that nagging irritation. And before I took occupation, I came here and I asked the previous occupant if I could begin. Somebody's outside. Hello? Oh, it's just the dogs making a very strange noise. If I could work on the lawn, I began then. And somebody else told me, you know, in conversation, lawn's looking good, whatever. Yeah, I'm trying quite hard. You know, he said to me that the reason why I had no lawn, was because a previous occupant, owner actually, I think, had taken up the lawn and planted a milli-circle where my front lawn is, a front garden. People will do that. Guaranteed. But the long and the short of this video, ladies and gentlemen, is that there are big things afoot in the world, and whether you like it or not, if you've got money in Liechtenstein, it's not safe. And if you are depending upon Eskom power, it is unfortunate. And if you are depending upon South African government water, you are looking for trouble, as I am. I'm no better off than you. And that if things go really badly, don't underestimate what is wartime rationing. Not if there's a war in South Africa. If there's a war in the world, and import and export and this, that, the next thing. I'm telling you, everybody that you know, all of them, bar none, who refuse to eat beef tongue and refuse to eat beef stomach and intestines and darms and liver and kidney and lungs and heart and brain, all of them will be pleading for that stuff. Because when all you get for meat, you know, if the country's in crisis and the government has to control food, is this for a week, for 4 people, or 1 person, or 2, or whatever. Anyway, I've said these things enough. Thank you for watching this video. Please like, share, and subscribe. And if you're one of those people who believes in the work that we're doing and would like to support us, please make a donation. Visit Suidlanders.org. Scroll, you press the enter thing, you go into the home page. Very easy, just click. Suidlanders.org, click, scroll down to the bottom, and you'll see there a few means, a few different ways or vectors for you to donate to us. We would appreciate it. Thank you. Goodbye, and God bless you.